All right, we're going to review solving equations. Last year you started with equations. This year you continued and worked with distributive property and variables on both sides. So this one is an example of equations where you have variables on both sides and distributive property. So the first thing we have to do is get rid of the parentheses, and we do that by distributing. So on the left you get 5b plus 10. And then on the right, we need to distribute the 3, so you'll get 3b plus 24. Now we need to get the variables together, and I recommend moving the variables first. So I'm going to subtract 3b, because 3b minus 3b will cancel. But you know the rule that whatever you do to one side, you have to do the other. So I need to subtract 3b over here. And since these are like terms, I can subtract and get 2b. And I still have plus 10 equals 24. Now I'm going to subtract 10 from both sides. So that cancels. So 2b equals 14. Divide both sides by 2. So those cancel. And b equals 7. Oops, sorry, I was off the camera, I'm so sorry. So your solution is b equals 7. And what you can do to check is fill 7 in over here and fill 7 in over there and work the problem out. And that's always a good way to take a multiple choice test. If you have no idea how to start the problem, you can always just fill in the answer options until you find the one that works. So if we filled in 7 over here, 7 plus 8 would be 15. So we'd have 3 times 15, and 3 times 15 is 45. And if we filled in 7 over here, we would have 7 plus 2, which is 9, and 5 times 9 is 45. So you can see we got the same answer on both sides, so we know that that checks. All right, I have another example, just more with distributive property. This time we only have to distribute on one side. So this side we're going to leave as is. So 6n minus 45. And on the right side, we're going to distribute this 3. So we're going to end up with 6n minus 45. And you might recognize this already, but we're going to go ahead and cancel our variables so that we can get them together on the same side. So to get rid of this 6n, I need to subtract 6n so that those will cancel. But whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So I need to subtract 6n over here. And what's going to end up happening is the 6n is going to cancel on the left side also. So you end up with negative 45 equals negative 45. So when you get to this part, what you want to do is take a look and decide if this is true. And if this is true, your answer is infinitely many solutions. If you ended up with something that was not true, for example, let's say we ended up with 45 equals negative 45. Well, that's not true. If we ended up with 0 equals negative 45, we know that's not true. In these situations, we would have no solution. But remember that getting 0 as an answer for your variable is not the same as no solution. No solution means that your variable is canceled out completely and you have no variable left at all. That's the only way that you can get no solution. So distribute, combine the variables together first on one side, and then move everything else away from that variable to solve. You can fill in your answer back into the original problem to check. And then remember the two special cases of infinitely many and no solution.